Hey guys, welcome back to Backpocket Game Reviews, and today we're going to show you how to build a Retropie. This is not a cooking with BPGR episode, by the way. This is an actual gaming device. Well, gaming is one of the things it can be used for. So one of the things you'll need are a Raspberry Pi board, a case, and a power cord. Those will be very important. I got mine in a kit. It is a Canon kit. It's pretty nice. It has a bunch of really useful stuff in it. Then you will also need a micro SD card. I only buy SanDisk for mine. There's a lot of reasons why. You will need some controllers, which I've got these nifty little 2 packs of SNES controllers. And then I've also got a USB drive. You will need the USB drive. But we'll get this all opened up. We're going to show you how to essentially assemble this. And Lord willing, at the end of this, you'll be able to make your own or win my giveaway, because I will be giving one of those away. It'll be in the gleam.io link in the description box down below. Alongside, I will link all of the stuff here that I bought to make these. So, stay tuned. It's essentially what you're going to do. Alright guys, so right here we've got a whole bunch of stuff. These are going to be your little heat sinks. We're gonna take those off the front of that package. This guy's actually going to be your case, so I picked a clear case. That's what I opted for. And then this guy is your power adapter. It is a micro USB. However, the reason why you want to go with something like this is because it's going to have interference protection and a lot of other stuff that'll help you with powering your Raspberry Pi, or your Retropie, you should say. Now, so these are the actual official Raspberry Pi boards, not specifically made by Canakit. They come in these tiny little paper bags here. Just gotta unclip the sides of the bags. Sorry, there's a really hard angle to record at, so you're gonna have to bear with me. Then we're gonna slide our little Raspberry Pi board out here. Before we go any further, because I've almost forgotten to do this on another one of them already, we're gonna put our additional heat sinks onto the board. The bigger one goes over the CPU. Obviously you can tell which one's bigger and which one's smaller. They just have little adhesive on the bottom. Just pull the adhesive coating off and then press right on down. Where did I stick that other guy at? Of course, only I could manage to lose something like this in this short of a time, because I'm BPGR and I'm notorious for losing things. Alright, peel the back off the smaller one, and then firmly place it on. When I say firmly, I don't mean put a bunch of force into this and press it down. I'm going to set the board to the side. This bottom piece comes off. You just grip into the holes there, slide out, bottom piece off. The board then slides into this. Now, if you pay really close attention right here, if I can get it to focus on that, probably not. So right here, there's a little lip. You need to make sure your Raspberry Pi board goes into that lip. And then give it a snug little press down. Then take the top part, which, by the way, if you ever do want to upgrade it, this piece right here would let you connect a hard drive, specifically using a cable. There we go. Now your Raspberry Pi is assembled. This is the easiest part of the entire thing. Actually, none of this is really that hard. So this part though is probably the part that's gonna freak most people out the most. Also keep in mind right here is your micro SD card slot, so it goes right in there. On this side you have an Ethernet port. Even though this has Wi-Fi built in, if you do want to connect to your Wi-Fi you will need a USB keyboard. You have 4 USB slots, a headphone jack, a HDMI cable, and your micro USB to power the device. So let's get this guy running. Alright guys, so I have the SD card, or the micro SD card, mounted in the SD card socket. So that way it all fits nicely into my SD card reader. So you should see which drive letter it is. For my computer it is F. Then, after you know which drive letter it is, you're going to need to use either, so there's a couple different things you can use. I'm going to use Windows 32 Disk Imager. You can also use Power ISO or something along those lines if you need it, I believe. I'm just using this because this is how I watched it done. And for ease of use and me not wanting to confuse it any more than what it is, I just stuck with it. So I've already unzipped the Retropie file, which is right here. For those of you wanting to see where to get this, Retropie, we're just going to give it a quick Google search. It's going to pop up retropie.org.uk. You just come onto here, you'll click Get Retropie, then you will select which board you are using. We are using the Raspberry 3 Type B, which is the most powerful Raspberry Pi board that is on the market. And yes, I may have donated to them. So we will continue. For this, because I unzipped it onto my desktop, so it's chilling right here, we're gonna select that file. It is already selected to image to F. Now we're gonna click write. It's gonna pop up an error message. You can pretty much just ignore this and click yes. This part is going to take you a few minutes though, so bear with me on this. Alright, so once this is done, you are almost complete as well. Bet that's exciting for you. Write successful. Alright, so then we're going to insert this into our Raspberry Pi. So give me 1 second and we'll jump to that. Alright, so this guy over here is my actual Raspberry Pi. We're going to slide the SD card here, the micro SD card, out of its adapter. Flip this guy over. Give me a second, these aren't the easiest recording angles. You will then stick your SD card into the bottom there until it clips right in. Now, when you are actually setting this up, I do recommend hooking it up Ethernet. But you really won't need to hook it up too often. But for right now, we're just going to hook it up HDMI. Then the power cable here, if I can get it in. I promise guys, I don't normally have this much issues getting it in the hole. Then, Raspberry Pi is powered on. So we're going to grab a controller. I'm going to actually use the Logitech one. Well, now we'll use this one to set it all up, because this is the one that's going to be coming with this unit. So whoever gets this will have a fully set up Raspberry Pi. Then we can plug into one. So we plug into one of the 4 USB slots. So one of the 4 USB slots you will utilize. You will also want to plug in your Ethernet the first time you set this guy up, and I'll explain why when we hook up to my Raspberry Pi. So then it's going to ask us to enter in a bunch of stuff. So press and hold A on the controller. So D-pad up, D-pad down, D-pad left, D-pad right. Start, select A, B, X, Y, left shoulder, right shoulder. Now, that is all this particular controller can support. Alright, so now you're actually going to plug in your USB drive. Mine's already formatted and everything, so we're not going to go into that, but you'll select it. You will select to format. Where'd that tricky sucker go? Right here. You will format it to FAT32. It'll just read system volume after that. Oh, but after you format it, you have to actually click and create a new folder and title it Retropie. You'll then stick the flash drive into one of the USB ports in your already set up Retropie. It'll automatically format that USB for you. So you will have to do nothing. It will just set that up for you. Once the light on your USB drive stops flashing, that means it's ready to go. And then it will create these folders: BIOS, configs, ROMs. Inside your ROMs here, you just drop your ROMs into the appropriate folders. So for example, N64 or PlayStation 1. Wherever PlayStation 1 is. It's PSX is what they have it listed as. Right here. And you just drop the appropriate files for your ROMs right into their respectable one. Now for like Sega CD and PlayStation 1, you need the BIOS folders. I believe this one of these is Sega CD, one of these is PlayStation, but you'll just drop those into the BIOS. Then you're good to unplug your flash drive, and you can plug it back into the Retropie, and it will automatically add all of them for you. Alright, so now we're booting up my Retropie, which is completely finished, so I can show you what the final product will look like. When you plug it in, make sure you have the HDMI cable plugged in before you plug in the power cord, or it will not recognize the HDMI cable. You will see a bunch of different splash screens. And then it will go to loading the emulation station, where it'll then show you all of the different systems that you have. Now, what you can do with that HDMI cable is you can have it download the box art and a description and the rating and the year it came out and all the information on the games. To do that, all you do is you hit the start button, you will select Scrapper, you will then scrape now. It'll scrape from the games database. You'll select Scrape Now, only the missing image, Start, and then you just select which box art that it pulls, that it searches for out of that title, because it's going to give you a list of them typically. But if you have a keyboard, this is where this will come in handy, is you can then use it to modify the search terms, because it'll also modify the title of every single one of those ROMs that you just installed. But that'll be your finished Retropie. By the way, guys, as you can see, it is not that overly complex to build yourself a Retropie. It's just mostly about, do you feel comfortable doing it? Is it something you think you can handle? And then honestly, the most time-consuming part is finding all of the ROMs. I use a website called romhustler.net. It works wonderfully. But you also need to know what files you need to select, because it's going to give you a lot more than just one copy of that ROM. Obviously, mine has been very clean and updated, which took a lot of time. So for those of you who do want one of these and don't want to make one yourself, hit me up. I might be willing to work out some terms with you on selling you one. But I will be giving one away, guys. As I said, that will be in the gleam.io link in the description box down below. And also, keep in mind with your flash drive here, after it's been formatted, you don't ever have to reformat this. You can just keep adding games, and then it'll only pull off the games that it doesn't have when I reinsert this. Now, if I were to go insert this into a friend's Retropie, it would automatically give them everything that is on this. Cool story. So it is very easy to upgrade or put more, or however you want to go about it. But guys, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. I'll have a little bit more content coming about the Retropie as well. Also, big shout out to Chaz for funding this particular project. I really appreciate that, and I hope you enjoy yours as much as I'm going to enjoy mine. But guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon. I'll have plenty more content coming for you.